Okay, so I've just woken up, I open my laptop and I see that I've lost everything. No followers, no network, no connections, I've lost every single thing. Now what do I do? This is a blueprint that I would follow step by step if I lose everything overnight and I had to restart. Or in a more realistic scenario, if you are someone who has no connections, no following, and basically no digital presence, then this is what you should follow. So the first thing I would do is avoid the general mistakes. Trying to be everywhere on all social platforms. Literally copy pasting whatever the viral creator is doing. Waiting to be confident, which never happens by the way. It's usually the other way around. You build confidence through action. And then trying to sell too early. Now, in order to make an impression and take the best step forward, you need to have a shift in your mindset. With that mindset change, these are the things that I would do. I would start with only one platform which I really understand. It could be LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it might be, just a single platform. I will define what exactly I want to be known for. So to speak, this is the positioning aspect. How do I position myself as an expert in a certain category or a certain field? The third thing I would do is just create and post content over time, iterate and build confidence through that. It's a process. You cannot just wait for that right moment until you have confidence and then you'll start creating content. It never works that way. And over time, when you're pushing content with intent, what happens is you slowly upskill yourself. You become good at what you do, and through that, you can build confidence. And with confidence, you can make better content. So it's a flywheel that you can follow. And the final thing I would actually do is try to build credibility and trust. Of course, monetization is a big aspect. You need to consider that. But if you focus on the first part, then the latter becomes easier. This is a 5-step roadmap that I would follow to go from invisible to generating income again. It addresses these questions: what to say, where to show up, and how to attract your first real audience. Now you might ask me, how do you know that this roadmap works? For this, I would like to tell you a little bit about my backstory. So I started creating content regularly within the past 6 months. And over this course, I have gained a bit of followers. I have made impressions in 6 figures on LinkedIn. And within this period of 6 months, I got multiple leads, which I converted and closed. And now I'm working with them. So just imagine, with a small following that I have, which is built quite recently, if I'm able to get leads and I'm working with them, and just following the same thing for a long period of time definitely compounds. And these 5 steps will ensure that you have a strong digital presence which you can monetize later. So let's start. So first thing, I would clarify my digital identity. What that means is I need to know what I'm good at and how I can position myself so that I can help others to find value in whatever I do. And having a clear one-liner is step number 1. So this is an example where you say, I'm someone who helps X do Y by Z. X will be my target audience, Y will be the solution to the pain point, and Z will be my value proposition. In my case, my target audience are content creators who want to monetize. Y will be the pain point, which is trying to make money. And proposition, or my expertise in this case, is content creation. So this will be my one-liner. And then you need to pick 3 content themes. Content themes are basically 3 buckets that you can place your content into. It really helps if there's some sort of intersection between the 3 buckets, because it shows that you're not focusing too broad. So my content themes are personal branding, content creation, and entrepreneurship. If you look at my videos, my tweets, my LinkedIn posts, everything is around these content themes. And then I would focus on setting up a basic bio, a good quality profile picture, and a username that's consistent across all social platforms. Of course, you choose a single platform to work on, but you need to make sure that your digital presence is synchronized across platforms. And then I would actually skip niche shopping. I would go with the strategy of perfecting over time rather than perfecting before I start. New content creators have something called as analysis paralysis, where you get into the zone of deciding your niche, deciding your content, but you don't start doing it because you think, maybe if I spend more time, I'll get it to a perfect level before I can start. But it never happens that way. The more time you spend analyzing, you are sort of paralyzed. Instead, you set a direction initially and you start going towards that. You create content, see how you feel, see how the audience perceives it, if there's any value add. If you are unhappy over time, then you slightly modify it to something else. And you get this clarity over time. It's a journey. Nobody is clear from the beginning. So step number 2 is creating your foundational posts. These posts are critical because they add some personality to your digital presence. My first post would be my origin story. Why exactly start this journey? And if I had to tell it briefly, it's because I've been creating content since over a decade and I've been learning so much over the past few years, and I feel that I'm at a stage where I can actually guide other folks who just want to get started with content creation. And it's very important that I emphasize the monetization aspect, because that's a major factor for a lot of the folks who want to choose content creation over traditional career pathways. Post number 2 will be about if I am currently learning or building something. This is an intentional post where you get the audience to join your journey. Whether you're learning a skill, building a product or a business, when you get the audience in on it, they're invested in your journey. They want to know if you end up as a failure or a successful person. So this journey is what gets a lot of eyeballs. And then you can post about a small tip or a tutorial, similar to what I'm doing in this video. You can see a lot of these tutorial carousels and posts across LinkedIn and X, where coaches, consultants and educators are trying to teach people how to do something. Next, I would post about a relatable struggle. And then finally, I would post a question. A post which is a question becomes engaging naturally because people want to answer that. And through this engagement, you can build connection. Step 3 is to show my face. So video as a form of content is the most challenging thing ever. So automatically, if you choose a platform which is video driven like YouTube or Instagram, then that's the best thing you can do to become confident, as compared to LinkedIn or Twitter where you sit behind a computer and then type what you want to say. So I would actually start by posting talking head videos. I'll keep it raw, I'll keep it real, no fancy edits. Maybe add some auto captions for some dynamic element within the videos and then just post it. So you do this because your face automatically builds trust within the audience. The more they see you, the more they perceive you as a trusted person. And through this trust and credibility, I can build a connection with my audience. Okay, step 4 is to engage like a human being. I have made it a point to engage like a human being on these platforms, especially when there's so many automated AI responses and replies. I think if I spend 20 minutes a day trying to comment on creators that I really admire, it helps me create a good impression. And I will target those who are also in the same level as I am, as opposed to some celebrity or an influencer, and through that build digital friendships. This will also create a reciprocal effect where my audience gets to see their content and their audience will get to see my content, and sort of a collaborative growth happens organically. And finally, step number 5 would be build an offer. An offer is anything that can add real value to your audience. It could be a product like a template, a PDF, checklist, content calendar, or it could be a coaching call, workshop, a digital course. It could be any sort of thing. In fact, I advise my clients to focus on productization in step number 1 as part of your digital presence clarity. And in exchange, I can collect leads, some testimonials, or do a case study for my landing page and for my website, etc. Or at the very least, build a connection. And in some cases, if my offer is really convincing, I can get paid. So just to recap, step number 1 will be to clarify my digital identity. Step number 2 is creating those 5 foundational posts that go a long way. Step number 3 is to actually show my face with an intention to build trust and mutual connection. Step number 4 would be to engage like a human. Build connections with other creators who are on a similar journey as you are. And finally, I'll build an offer where I'll provide a product or a service in exchange for something from my audience. So there you go. So these are the 5 things you should follow if you're starting to create content online. And if you want a bit more guidance, I have a free 8-step starter kit specifically designed for people who have no idea about personal branding. The link is in the description, go check it out. If you found anything useful in this video, then do subscribe to my channel and like this video. See you in the next one.